bought brand new clothing items for literally over 20 years because I just don't like to buy new clothes if I can get away with getting them from the Goodwill outlet or a similar store. I pretty much never go buying clothes that aren't on sale, and even if they're on sale, I pretty much don't buy them because I can almost always guarantee that I can find a better deal at the Goodwill outlet or another thrift store. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos of me going to a bunch of different thrift stores. I really like thrifting and I like to share that journey with you guys. Like I said, I have not gone shopping for new clothes and got them from an actual store in such a long time. I am trying to think about when the last time I got actual clothes for like full price was, and I genuinely cannot tell you that there was ever a time when I did do that. The most that I will do is like getting clothes on sale and they're on super clearance and it's literally the last ever chance to get them. But most of the time I just don't go to big box stores or any other kinds of stores to buy clothing items. To me personally, I just don't really enjoy going to a big box store and kind of getting inundated in your face about different kinds of clothing items. So I know that obviously what you're seeing in the frame is very much so in your face about different kinds of clothing items. I totally get that, but I think it's different because like when you're in a store, you're getting like constantly bombarded with like advertisements and like buy this, buy that, this is 70% off, this is 20% off, you can save $10 here. Whereas when you're at the Goodwill outlet, it's just kind of like you're chilling, you're like looking through the bins, you might be there with some friends like I was on this day, or you might be there by yourself, which is totally cool too. I love going to the Goodwill outlet by yourself, and it's just like a really good vibe. Personally, I love the shopping experience there. If you're not familiar with what a Goodwill outlet is, it's basically a store where Goodwill sends everything that didn't get sold at one of their normal stores, and you can buy it at a per pound basis instead of paying per item. There are oftentimes a lot of different kinds of clothing items there, but don't worry, if you're not into the clothing scene, there are totally other kinds of items there too. I've gotten so many household decor items from the Goodwill outlet. Pretty much everything in my apartment except for like my bed and like bedding and stuff, like linens really, are pretty much all thrifted. I don't really like buying like linens or mattresses or like furniture and things that you can't easily clean that well at home from a thrift store. For me, it's just kind of a mental blockade. Maybe one day I'll get over it and I'll like live in the world of getting mattresses and stuff from thrift stores too, but I have not yet gotten to that point in my thrifting journey. Let me know down in the comments below if you have ever thrifted like furniture or like something that isn't easily cleaned. I'm always so worried about like bed bugs and different kinds of things like that I kind of stay away from the soft furniture in general. What I do with clothing items, if you're wondering how I like sanitize them and make sure that they're okay to wear, is that I have a bottle of like really strong alcohol solution, like it's 70 or 90% that I got from Walgreens, that I spray down the clothes with immediately after buying them. Then I leave them in a plastic bag pretty much for a few days before I even touch it. Afterwards, I wash them really well in super hot water, one time with bleach, one time with vinegar, and both times have detergent in them. And then that is pretty much how I go about making sure that the clothing that I do get is pretty clean. With house furniture that is like a hard surface like wood or plastic or metal in general, what I like to do is I wipe it down again with that alcohol solution that I have in my car, and then I take it home, I wash it really well with soap and water. Sometimes I'll pour some bleach on there too if it's not something that gets ruined by bleach, and then I'll leave it out in the sun for a few days. Never underestimate how good the sun is to make sure that everything you have is sanitized. I'm pretty sure that the ultraviolet rays like kill pretty much any bacteria that is left over after bleaching and using really hot water and soap on things. So that is kind of how I go about making sure that whatever I do buy is nice and clean and safe for me to use. I've never really had any instances where I've accidentally ruined clothing items or furniture items because of this process, and I think the clothing items that I do get from the Goodwill outlet are pretty durable. Obviously, if you're getting something that's like satin or silk or something that's a little bit less hardy, you might have to change the way that you're cleaning things, but whatever you do, there are definitely a lot of people on the internet who have a lot of different suggestions for how to clean things, so definitely take a perusal through like TikTok or something and try to figure out what other people are doing, because they have documented literally everything. TikTok and like online people in general is literally how I first like got into like thrifting and stuff. It's actually how my mom first got into thrifting and stuff. She found it from like Facebook, and then she started going, and then I started going with her, and then it became something that we do together, which is why I really, really like it, because it always reminds me of her. And I don't live with her anymore, so it's kind of fun, really, just like going and exploring all the Goodwill outlets. On this day, I wasn't really looking for different kinds of furniture and stuff, although I have moved recently into a new apartment, so I am totally on the lookout for trying to find different kinds of furniture. I might head back out to the IKEA because, like I said, I don't really like buying pillows or like soft furniture from thrift stores in general, and IKEA always has so many different items for so many different price points, but most of the time it's really, really good and pretty cheap, especially if you buy the things that are on sale. Plus, I've been wanting to go to the IKEA cafeteria again and try out those Swedish meatballs. I really, really like their food there, and it's also cheap too. Let me know if you guys want to see a vlog of me going to IKEA and trying to buy a bunch of different furniture, because I would totally be down to record something like that. I did find so many nice items on this day when I was at the Goodwill outlet. I found some jeans, I found a bunch of different sweatshirts. It was awesome. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Bye!